What's up everyone, it's Max Setson and I am back with another episode of Storytime. Today I will be reading you one of my all-time classic fairy tales. I don't know if you can see the screen, Little Red Riding Hood. And with that said, I decided to bring two redhead girls with me as friends. Blossom and Poison Ivy. Please sit back and relax while it takes me maybe a minute to read this. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother. And there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave up her little cap of red velvet, which suited her well, that she would never wear anything else, so she would always be called Little Red Cap. One day, her mother said to her, "Come home, Little Red Cap. Here's a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is ill and weak, and they will do her good. Set out before it's hot, and when you are going, walk nicely and quietly, and do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle, and then your grandmother will get nothing. And when you go into her room, don't forget to say good morning, and don't peep in every corner before you do it." "I will take great care," said Little Red Cap to her mother, and gave her hand on it. The grandmother lived out in the wood, half a league from the village, and just as Little Red Cap entered the wood, a wolf met her. Little Red Cap did not know what a wicked creature he was, and was not at all afraid of him. "Good day, Little Red Cap," said he. "Thank you, kindly wolf. Whither away so early, Little Red Cap?" "To my grandmother's." "What have you got in your apron?" "Cake and wine. Yesterday was a baking day, so poor said grandmother is to have something good to make her stronger." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Cap?" "A good quarter of a league farther on in the wood. Her house stands under the 3 large oak trees. The nut trees are just below. You surely must know it," replied Little Red Cap. The wolf thought to himself, "What a tender young creature! What a nice plump mouthful! She would be better than the old woman. I must act craftily so as to catch both." So she walked for a short time by the side of Little Red Cap, and then she said, "See, Little Red Cap, how pretty flowers are about here. Why do you not look around? I believe, too, that you do not hear how sweetly the little birds singers. You walk gravely along as if you were going to school, while everything else out here in the wood is merry." Little Red Cap raised her eyes, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing here and there through the trees, and pretty flowers growing elsewhere, she thought, "Suppose I take grandmother a fresh nosegay. That will please her too. It is so early in the day that I shall still get her in good time." And so she ran from the path and into the woods and looked for flowers. And when she had picked one, she fancied that she saw still prettier farther on, and ran after it, and so got deeper and deeper in the wood. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to her grandmother's house and knocked at the door. "Who is there?" "Little Red Cap," replied the wolf. "She is bringing cake and wine. Open the door." "Lift the latch," called up the grandmother. "I am too weak and cannot get up." The wolf lifted the latch, the door sprang open, and without saying a word, he went straight to her grandmother's bed and devoured her. Then he put her clothes, dressed himself in a cap, and lay himself in bed and drew the curtains. Little Red Cap, however, had been running about picking flowers, and when she gathered so many that she could carry on no more, she remembered her grandmother and set out on the way to her. She was surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and when she went into the room, she had such a strange feeling that she said to herself, "Oh dear, how uneasy I feel today, and at other times I like being with my grandmother so much." She called out, "Good morning," but received no answer. So she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her Cap pulled farther over her face and looked very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my child," was the reply. "But grandmother, what big ears you have," she said. "The better to see you with, my dear." "But grandmother, what large hands you have." "The better to hug with you." "Oh, but grandmother, what a big terrible mouth you have. The better to eat you with." And scarcely had the wolf said this than with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up little Red Cap. When the wolf had eased his appetite, he lay down again in the bed, fell asleep and began to snore very loud. The huntsman was just passing the house and thought to himself, "How the old woman is snoring! I must just see if she wants anything." So he went into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw that the wolf was lying in it. "Do I find you here, you old sinner?" said he. "I have long sought you." Then, just as he was going to fire him, it occurred to him that the wolf might have devoured the grandmother, and that she might still be saved. But so he did not fire, but took a pair of scissors and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. When he had made 2 snips, he saw a little Red Cap shining, and then he made 2 snips more, and the little girl sprang out. "Ah, how frightened I've been! How dark it was inside the wolf!" And after that the aged grandmother came out alive also, but scarcely able to breathe. Red Cap, however, quickly fetched the stones, and which they filled the wolf's belly, and when he awoke he wanted to run away, but the stones were so heavy he collapsed at once and fell dead. Then all 3 were delighted. The huntsman drew off the wolf's skin and went home with it. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine which Red Cap had bought and revived. But the Red Cap thought to herself, "As long as I live, I will never by myself leave the path to run in the wood when my mother has forbidden me to do so." It also related that once, when Red Cap was again taking the cakes to the old grandmother, a long wolf spoke to her and tried to entice her from the path. Red Cap, however, was on her guard and went straight forward on her way, and told her grandmother that she had met the wolf, and that he said good morning to her, but with such a wicked look in her eyes, and that if they had not been on the public road, she was certain he would have eaten her up. "Well," said the grandmother, "we will shut the door, though he may not come in." Soon afterwards the wolf knocked and cried, "Open the door, grandmother. I am Little Red Cap, and I am bringing you some cakes." But they did not speak or open the door, so the greybeard stole twice or thrice round the house, and at last jumped on the roof, intending to wait until Red Cap went home in the evening, and then to steal after and devour in the darkness. But the grandmother saw what was in his thoughts. In front of the house was a great stone trowel, so she said to the child, "Take the quill, Red Cap. I made some sausages yesterday, so carry the water in which I boiled them to trowel." Red Cap carried out until the great trowel was quite full. Then the smell of the sausages reached the wolf, and he sniffed and peeped down, and last stretched out his neck so far that he could no longer keep his footing, and began to slip, and slipped down the roof and straight into the great trowel, and was drowned. But the Red Cap was jealously home, and no one had ever did anything to harm her again. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Storytime with me, Blossom, and Poison Ivy. If you liked this, give this video a like, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more episodes and other videos. Once again, I'm Meg Stetson, and take care.
Hey guys, thank you all for watching. I just wanted to let you all know that I've recently set up a Patreon account, and if you like my work, please consider supporting it there as well. See you on the next video.